Hi, I'm Eve Menezes Cunningham, and welcome to the Feel Better Everyday podcast, helping you connect with and take better care of yourself and create a life you don't need to retreat from. Welcome to episode 12 of the Feel Better Everyday podcast. Today's guest is one of my all-time favourite yoga instructors, Emma Turnbull. She's also a yoga teacher trainer and Ayurvedic practitioner, and she has integrated tea ceremony into her practice as well. I love what she's saying about turning her whole day and her whole life into a practice and making it a practice rather than anyone trying to be perfect. We're all human, and I love all of these interviews and everyone being so open about the gulf between the ideal and the reality. So I hope it encourages you to go easier on yourself and think about what you'd like to include every day and what you can practically include. As you listen, maybe think about how you can take some of the pressure off yourself to make it a morning thing, and enjoy the episode. So, welcome, Emma Turnbull. Thank you so much for joining me for the Feel Better Everyday podcast.
Thank you for having me. Really pleased to be here.
Yeah, it's funny because I met you through a gorgeous yoga class that you used to teach and that I then took over from you when I was newly qualified, and they remain like my favourite classes. Absolutely gorgeous. But you and I actually went to the same school at
We did.
same year but different times, I
think
we both...
you left and then I joined, so
Yeah.
we must have just passed each other.
So you're known for yoga and also Ayurveda, and you have a gorgeous studio now in Essex where you do all sorts of lovely things. And would you like to say a bit about how long you've been doing this and what you're working on at the moment?
Yes, so I've been teaching for 16, 18 years, so coming nearly 20 years of teaching. And I'm now running a studio, so Yoga Wise Studio. There's a very long story around that, but that's coming up to our 5-year anniversary. So
Amazing.
It's a great space. So the bulk of my work is teaching weekly classes and workshops, but I also run yoga teacher trainings as well. So I run the British Will Foundation course and my own 500-hour yoga wise teacher training, which includes Ayurveda as well. So they're kind of the bulk of my work. But alongside that, I also offer Ayurveda consultations, the new Wise Woman Alchemy sessions, and my newish love, which are tea ceremonies as well. So we have the tea room alongside the studio as well. So lots of lovely things.
Lovely. And there'll be links to all of that in the show notes, so people can find you. And I'd love to know, what, if you had all the time and space in the world, you would start each day with, both in terms of basic self-care and connecting with the divine?
So it's changed a lot over the years. You know, my ideal self-care now compared to what it was maybe 15 years ago is quite different. So it always evolves.
Yeah.
But right now, if I had all the time in the morning to do everything I wanted, it would definitely involve mantra. Mantra's always been a part of my practice, so I would probably I'd start before that by lighting a candle and incense. Mantra, so morning mantras, and that in those mantra practices, that is that connection to the divine. And then I would follow with tea ceremony. It's a big part of my daily practice now, so it would be my tea ceremony, which is a form of meditation.
Yeah.
And then I would probably go on and do some pranayama and some yoga, so physical asana postures, and then I would have a walk outdoors, or probably a walk outdoors in the forest or on a beach, maybe a cold dip as well, who knows. But yeah, they would be the main parts of my ideal morning routine.
So tell me about your actual like self-care essentials, because this is
My
the point.
actual
Yeah.
self-care. It is quite funny because I think we all have our ideal and then the reality. And
Absolutely.
yeah, for me, what's lovely is my ideal morning routine. Most of those parts will make itself in during the week. So instead
Yeah.
of trying to do it all on one day, I'll take parts of that. So mainly at the moment, tea ceremony is my main morning practice. That to me just ticks all the boxes because it is meditation, it is connecting to nature, it's connecting to yourself. And so I'm lucky that I fit that in a lot of mornings. Well, yeah, a lot of mornings. So that's probably my most realistic. But then there are many days where it is just getting out of bed and getting ready for the day that doesn't involve any kind of meditation or yoga or anything. But to me, I think there's always a lot of talk about morning routines, which are wonderful and important and nourishing. But to me, your whole day is part of your practice. That to me,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
I was going to ask about later in the day and even
Yeah.
winding down for bed again, additional practices and what are essentials. So
Yeah.
ideal and actual.
Yeah. Oh, so evenings. So evenings. So I guess my ideal evening routine would be I always like to shower in the evening. So it's kind of that washing off the day. So I would shower. I like to use Ayurvedic oils as massage into my feet in the evening because I find that really helps with grounding the energy and helping me sleep, especially in the colder months. So I would do a foot massage before bed, and then probably reading. I guess in an ideal world, I'd meditate at the end of the day as well, but honestly, that doesn't often happen. The realistic is normally the shower that happens.
Yeah.
The other bits are the add-ons.
Yeah. And anything else earlier in the day?
So yeah, as I say, for me, if I don't get time to actually make space for what I call a morning practice, then it just weaves in throughout my day
Yeah.
because to me, yoga, um, meditation, all of those things, they're a way of being, they're a way of seeing the world. So to me, my whole life, every part of my day is part of my practice. So
Yeah.
the way that I interact with the people I meet, the way that I view the world, um, the pauses I take during the day when life gets hectic, that's all my practice. And it is a practice, don't
Yeah.
always get it right. I still shout at the kids or, maybe not so much now they're older. But my practice is a living practice. So it's not just time boxed into
Yeah.
those parts. It's just part of how I try to be in
Yeah.
every moment.
And you've already said that it's evolved over the years. I'd love to know if you could send some love and advice back to younger you, what would that be?
Oh, so younger me, my love and advice to me younger would be to trust myself, to really trust myself and trust my intuition instead of trying to do what I thought was the right thing to do or be the right way, would just be to trust my intuition and do what's right for me and know that that's perfect.
Ah, well, as expected, gorgeous as ever. People will know where to find you from the show notes, but do you want to say briefly where they can find you online?
Yes, so online, my website is yoga-wise.co.uk, but then I'm probably more active on Instagram, to be honest. So the Yoga Wise page is Yoga Wise UK on Instagram, and the Tea and Tarot is Tea and Tarot Shop, and that's on Instagram as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Delightful to talk again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Feel Better Everyday podcast. I'm your host, and this episode was produced by me, Eve Menezes Cunningham, and today's guest was Emma Turnbull. As I encouraged you before the episode, let me know how you get on in terms of taking the pressure off yourself to make it a morning or evening routine, and think of ways in which, or one way in which you can let your whole day, your whole life be your practice. You can comment, you can message. Please rate, review, share, help this podcast get heard by whoever you think might enjoy it or benefit from it, or hopefully both. And subscribe, of course, to help you get it without you having to seek it out each week. Next week's guest is another of my favourite yoga teachers, Veena Ugagal, and she's also a therapist, and I look forward to sharing that with you next week.